So massive tech companies are fighting it out, and you and I get to watch and suffer. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Grayson, and this is your resource for all things nerd culture, including gaming. Specifically today, we're talking about Fortnite, and more specifically, the developer of Fortnite, Epic Games, duking it out with Google and Apple. If you missed the news, these giant tech companies are at war all of a sudden. So here's what's going on. Google and Apple have taken Fortnite off of their platforms, off of their App Store and off of the Google Play Store. And here's why. Originally, you could buy V-Bucks, the Fortnite in-game currency, through the Apple Store or through the Google Play Store. And Apple made 30% of the profits off of that purchase. Epic Games decided they didn't like that. So they added a feature on the mobile game that would let you bypass the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and allow you to buy V-Bucks for cheaper, 20% less than you would normally pay for them. And Apple would no longer get their cut. Apple and Google said, knocked them off the platform. Now there's a lot of interesting things about this. First of all, Epic Games responded by suing Apple and Google. And their lawsuit happened immediately, almost immediately upon them being taken off the store, which tells you that really, this is all a pretty big PR stunt by Epic Games. They knew that by doing this, Google and Apple would retaliate and it would create all this media buzz and drama. And there's two sides to the coin here. There's people on Epic Games' side that say, well, yeah, Apple's taking an unfair share, Google's taking their unfair share, an unfair cut of things, which is a perfectly legitimate perspective to stand on, especially for some small developers that are trying to get in. It's tougher to get in. In the case of somebody like Fortnite, who's making billions, understandably, these are big percentages, these are big dollars they're giving away, but they're also winning at everything. This is like the biggest game in the world right now. And they're fighting, trying to act like they're the little guy fighting against Apple. And listen, comparatively to Apple or Google, they might be the little guy. But let's not get confused here and act as if Epic Games is some helpless, young indie developer just trying to make it out there. This is a massive developer. And here's the thing that I think is a little bit funny. They cut the price by 20% when you buy V-Bucks, but Apple was taking 30%, okay? What this means is Epic Games is still making 10% more than they were originally making on V-Buck purchases. So it's not as if they're just eliminating the 30% from Apple. They're actually gonna make more. And here's kind of my struggle and my dilemma. I'd be really curious your guys' comments down in the comment section, your opinions on this. I understand that it feels like a bummer to have to pay out these massive percentages to Google or to Apple or really to any platform that you're selling your game on. I get it. But those platforms are also giving you the opportunity to make it, to sell your game. And there's some frustration at the monopoly that's been created with Apple or with Google and their Android phones, their iOS devices. But the truth is, it's hard to argue for why they should be punished for succeeding. It's sort of like if I'm at a job and I'm doing really well and I get the promotion instead of the guy next door who does nothing, why should I be punished for the fact that I'm succeeding while they aren't? Now, there's a lot more to play it here, even including government involvement, including, rumors of these companies kind of partnering together to squash the little guy and all this stuff, and I get all of that. But I just think it's important we keep in mind, these are not small indie developers fighting against big league developers. I have no idea who's gonna win out here. Obviously Epic Games has followed a lawsuit. I have no idea if that will hold any ground in court. I'm not an attorney. It's hard for me to imagine it will, because technically Epic Games went against the TOS and then bigger companies simply responded to that infringement upon the terms of service. And so I don't know how you lose a lawsuit in that instance. Maybe I misunderstand something, but it just doesn't quite add up to me how how Apple or Google could come out losing in terms of lawsuit. Now, in terms of PR, it seems as if they're not doing so great. Most everybody seems to be siding with Epic Games, and I understand. If I'm being honest, I probably do as well. But I will say it seems like evil genius behavior to have played this the way Epic Games have played it. It's very impressive. Not only do they make video games, they seem to be winning at video games in real life, the video game version of real life. You know what I'm saying? Now, what happens? Well, I cannot fathom that Google and Apple are not going to find some kind of agreement with Epic Games, because they're not going to want one of the biggest mobile app games specifically, to not be on their platforms. And it's hard for me to imagine they're not going to want them back on, even if they have to take a reduced cut or something. Now, the argument that a lot of people are making, and even Epic Games themselves are making, is the fact that there are plenty of apps that do not pay that fee. Things like Amazon, even the Nike app, Grubhub. The counter to that is that these are physical goods. These are not in-app digital purchases that are being taxed by Apple or Google. Those are physical goods being purchased. And I don't know why there's a difference necessarily. Digital goods are kind of becoming physical goods. It seems as if we're kind of molding physical and digital goods to me. Let me know down in the comments if you think that there's still a real discernible difference between the two, because so many of my digital goods function almost as physical goods in my life nowadays. And so the things that I purchase that are maybe digital play out in a way that previously in past years, physical goods would have played out, if that makes sense. And so at some point, they kind of become the same thing, and it's hard to discern the difference. So if there's no tax to the developers of apps for physical good purchases, why would there be for digital good purchases? Now, this brings us to the idea that the tax of 30% in the case of Apple here is a little excessive. It seems a little bit excessive and extreme, in my opinion. 30% is a huge number. It's basically a big battle of giant tech corporations, and we get to do two things. On one level, we get to suffer, or at least those of you that play Fortnite on mobile get to suffer for now. But in the end, I think we as individuals actually get to benefit. This is the great thing about having competition in our marketplace, is that these companies are gonna go head to head, and what it's probably gonna mean for you and I are lower prices overall. You already see this with the V-Buck 20% drop on all versions of the game. So if you're playing on PS4, Xbox, anything else, you're now paying a lower price for V-Bucks because of all of this happening, because of Epic Games kind of trying to stick it to the man. And so in the end, I think we as the consumer are going to benefit from situations like this. Anytime there's competition in the market, anytime there's disruptors, people coming in and shaking up the status quo, we seem as users, as consumers, to benefit from that sort of thing. So I think in the end, it's a little bit of drama here. In the end, we're probably not even gonna really fully know or understand the back-end dealings, the backdoor dealings that happen, but I have a funny feeling we're actually gonna end up benefiting from this with lower costs in the end. At least that's my hope, that's my prediction. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Are you a Fortnite player? Are you an anti-Fortniter? Either way, let me know down below. Appreciate you guys checking the video out. If you want to hit that thumbs up, that subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. More videos coming at you very soon. See you guys in the next one.